In the early 1900s, Tulsa's Greenwood district was known as the most affluent and thriving black community in the nation. The segregated area sustained itself with banks and commerce. Greenwood was a place where any man or woman of color could become prosperous. The residents were highly educated, drove fancy cars, and dressed to the nines.
Well, if you can imagine walking down the 100 block of Greenwood and seeing all manner of shops, dress shops, haberdasheries, beauty shops, professional offices, lots of lawyers, doctors, and so forth, all in one narrow, discreet area.
Noted African-American historian Hannibal Johnson says Greenwood was thriving at a time when race relations were at their worst in the country. In 1919, there were over 25 major race riots in America. In 1921, it was Tulsa's turn. Between May 31st and June 1st of that year, Greenwood, known at the time as the Negro Wall Street, burned to the ground.
So Tulsa was not unique in this outbreak of racial violence. The uniqueness has to do with the magnitude of the destruction and what was destroyed.
Estimates of those killed range from 100 to 300. 800 people were admitted to hospitals. An estimated 10,000 people were left homeless. But the people of Greenwood were resilient. They started to rebuild.
By the early to mid-1940s, this community was peaking with over 200 black-owned and operated businesses. So the story is a story of resilience and the human spirit. That ultimately is what this saga of Greenwood is all about.
One home built after the riot stands today.
We are in the home of Sam and Lucy Mackey.
Michelle Brown of the Greenwood Cultural Center says this stately home represents the resilience of Greenwood just a few years after the riot.
So this was a really modern home at the time, and it faced Greenwood.
This home had a bird's eye view of all that was happening on Greenwood. A night on the town perhaps meant catching a movie or listening to the sounds of great musicians like Louis Armstrong or Nat King Cole, who performed at clubs in the district. But in 1970, urban renewal would take Greenwood to the brink of death again. The city bought up houses and businesses along Greenwood for the building of Interstate 244. Today at Archer and Greenwood, once the gateway to the Greenwood community, there is only one small block of original buildings remaining. Along the sidewalk, scores of plaques mark the businesses that once stood here. Now Greenwood Avenue takes you onto the campus of OSU Tulsa and Langston University Tulsa. It is also where the Tulsa office for OETA sits. The building is just one of many new ones now staking a claim in Greenwood's renaissance. The One Oak Field, which opened in the spring of 2010, is seen by many as the catalyst for the new momentum being realized in the area.
Not in Greenwood's history have we experienced or realized foot traffic to the tune of 400,000 people per year coming into the district. The ballpark gives us that advantage.
Reuben Gant's office overlooks the historic area. He's chairman of the Greenwood Chamber of Commerce. Gant was instrumental in securing city approval for a new development on one of the empty corners of Archer and Greenwood. The 4-story structure will have commercial space on the first floor and 70 affordable apartments on the upper floors. It's the first time in decades that people will call Greenwood their home.
The development that's now occurring here will create that same type environment, but in a different sense in that instead of it being solely all African-American owned businesses, we'll have a certain element of diversity here. So that's exciting in itself.
The Glove Box Boutique opened in November. The owner is Shamika Glover.
Downtown is really growing, and I really want to be a part of it.
Fat Guy's Burger Bar, which opened in 2010, is enjoying a booming business. It's attracting people who have never been to Greenwood before.
It's opened people's eyes really to, what Greenwood was. There's plaques all up and down. I mean, this is basically a history lesson in Tulsa, and it's really exciting to see, people's eyes light up. It's like, no kidding.
What's the spirit of Greenwood right now?
Oh, everybody here is excited. They really are. I mean, things are moving and a lot of traffic is down here. And I expect a lot more to come.
Herbert Cornell owns Hebert's restaurant. As a fifth-generation Tulsan, Herbert is happy to see the increased traffic on Greenwood because people are learning about a part of Tulsa's history which was almost forgotten.
But now you got to understand, people didn't really talk about the race riot until probably 1971 or 72 or somewhere along there. It was never mentioned. In fact, the whole time I grew up, I never knew about it. I mean, it was not to be talked about.
This is known as hostility.
Now it is being talked about, especially at the John Hope Franklin Reconciliation Park adjacent to Greenwood. In the future, it will also include a center for reconciliation.
And brick by brick, block by block, Greenwood rose again. Out of the ashes of the intolerance and fires of hatred came new homes and businesses, schools and churches.
The chairman of the center, Julius Pegues, uses the park to give history lessons to school children. Dedicated in October of 2010, the park stands as a memorial of the riot and as a tribute to the resiliency of the human spirit. It is one of the centerpieces of not only the re-emerging Greenwood, but of all the historic districts north of downtown that are experiencing a surge of redevelopment.
This whole area is just going to take off. You know, we have an arts district, you know, down here that's going to be fabulous. I mean, I just get excited about Tulsa, you know what I mean?
Pegues says the potential for revival was always here. Tulsa just had to bring the right elements together to make it happen.